8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news, edited by Romesh Piris and read by Indrani Senanayake. The headlines. India expected to send positive message on debt during Jaishankar's visit to Sri Lanka. The cabinet approval to provide rice to 2 million low-income families. The Commissioner General of Examinations says necessary arrangements are in place for the GCE Advanced Level exam to begin on the 23rd of January. The Foreign Employment Bureau introduces a new insurance policy for the protection of female migrant workers leaving for the Middle East. The Commissioner General of Examinations says arrangements are in place for the local government elections. In foreign news, cold wave hits North India again as temperature dips to 1.4 degrees Celsius. In sports news, Australia Open Emma Raducanu and Cameron Norrie through in Melbourne. External Affairs Minister of India S. Jaishankar's visit to Colombo on Thursday will focus on supporting Sri Lanka in its current economic crisis, adding that discussions are ongoing in the field of energy security, food security, currency swap arrangements, as well as talks about restructuring Sri Lanka's debt. The two-day visit is expected to see some announcements. In addition, discussions are expected on two possible MOUs on the Trincomalee development project and the long-pending plan for a cross-strait transmission line that would allow Sri Lanka to access India's plan for an energy grid, along with other countries like Nepal, Bhutan and Bangladesh. Sri Lanka has hoped to finalize its IMF bailout package but missed a December deadline due to the delay in concluding debt restructure talks. It now hopes to complete the talks in the first quarter of 2023. The Foreign Employment Bureau of Sri Lanka has taken steps to introduce a new insurance policy for the protection of women leaving for the Middle East region for domestic work. Accordingly, the employer who hires a relevant female migrant worker must obtain this insurance, and the insurance certificate must be submitted to the Foreign Employment Bureau to register the female migrant worker for foreign employment. Women domestic workers leaving for Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates can choose a suitable insurance policy from among the approved insurance schemes. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. We continue with local news. The Commissioner General of Examinations, Amit Jayasundara, said all necessary arrangements have been prepared for the GCE Advanced Level, which was scheduled for the year 2022 to begin on the 23rd of January. The GCE Advanced Level examination will start on the 23rd of January and continue until the 17th of February. Accordingly, the exam will be held for 22 days. This year, 278,196 schools candidates and 53,153 private candidates are sitting the examination at 2,200 centres island-wide. The National Election Commission informed the Supreme Court that all necessary arrangements are in place to hold the local government elections. President's Counsel, Salia Piris, representing the chairman of the Election Commission and its members, made this notification when the Apex Court considered a petition filed by retired Army Colonel W.M.R. Vijayasundara against holding the elections. This petition was called before the Supreme Court bench consisting of Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya, Justices S. Thurayaraja and Janak De Silva. Accordingly, the Supreme Court, which allowed the petitioner to submit an amended petition, ordered to call the petition again on the 18th. The petitioner claims that there is a huge economic crisis in the country, so it is inappropriate to hold the local government polls at this time. The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka has approved power cuts of 2 hours and 20 minutes for the 17th and 18th of January 2023. The PUCSL stated that the power cuts will be enforced for groups A to L and P to W during this period. A 1-hour power cut will be implemented during the daytime, while a power cut of 1 hour and 20 minutes will be implemented at night. Police fired tear gas and water cannons to disperse the Inter-University Students' Federation protesters at St. Anthony's Road, Kolopitiya this evening. As a result, the duplication road in Kolopitiya has been shut for motorists. Earlier, the Colombo Fort Magistrates Court issued a restraining order preventing protesters from entering the Golfers Green in Colombo from Lipton Circus via Union Place today. That ends the local segment of news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal presented by President Ranil Wickremesinghe to provide 10 kilograms of rice per month to 2 million low-income families, including Samurdhi beneficiaries, for a period of 2 months. Accordingly, the government will purchase 61,600 metric tons of paddy to meet the requirement of 40,000 metric tons. The President's Media Division said this program is proposed to be implemented by district secretaries and divisional secretaries with the assistance of small and medium-scale paddy mills.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhalepa.
A look at Watchlight. The Ministry of Education has announced that the ministry will not issue letters in order to enroll students who have passed the GCE ordinary level examination into the advanced level classes based on their subject streams. Further, the ministry has notified that permission has been granted through circulars to the respective schools in this regard. Accordingly, the students can make arrangements through the zonal education director of that area to obtain a school within their area in which the relevant subject stream is available.
Coming up, World News.
World News headlines. Cold wave hits North India. Again, as temperature dips to 1.4 degrees Celsius. 50 women abducted by suspected rebels in Burkina Faso. German Defense Minister resigns after months of criticism. The minimum temperature in the capital Delhi dropped to 1.4 degrees Celsius early today as parts of northern India were hit by a cold spell. The weather department has warned that cold wave conditions are likely to continue over the next 2 days. Delhi saw a cold snap just days ago when the minimum temperature dipped to 1.9 degrees Celsius. India's weather department declares a cold wave when the temperature drops below 4 degrees Celsius. Today, Delhi experienced its coldest day of the season, with temperatures plummeting below 2 degrees Celsius in several parts of the city. Gunmen abducted some 50 women in Burkina Faso's northern province of Somme in January 12th and 13th, the government says. Armed men seized the women as they were picking wild fruit outside the village of Liki, about 15 kilometers from the town of Abinda in another district west of the town. According to local officials, the army and its civilian auxiliaries have carried out unsuccessful sweeps of the area. Germany's embattled defense minister, who was criticized over the space of a massive project to modernize the military and for Berlin's stuttering response to the Ukraine war, has resigned. Christine Lambrecht said in a written statement today that months of media focus on my person had stood in the way of a factual debate about the military and Germany's security policy. Pressure on Lambrecht mounted recently after an ill-judged New Year's video message. The 57-year-old had been in her post since Scholz became Chancellor in December 2021. To end this bulletin of world news, the headlines again. Cold wave hits North India again as temperature dips to 1.4 degrees Celsius. 50 women abducted by suspected rebels in Burkina Faso. Germany Defence Minister resigns after months of criticism. That ends this bulletin of World News.
Development News.
Opening a new portal to visit the historical Sitavaka Kingdom, Sitavaka Odyssey. The luxury tourist train commenced its maiden journey last morning from the Colombo Fort Station. Minister of Transport, Highways and Mass Media, Dr. Bandula Gunawardena, officially inaugurated the new weekend train service, which was started with the aim of making Sitavaka a popular area among local and foreign tourists. A program has been jointly planned with the Western Provincial Tourism Board for tourists travelling on this train, travelling from Colombo Fort to Vaga to visit a number of places of tourist attractions in the area.
Sports News is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
Emma Raducanu made a positive return to court after her injury scare, moving to the second round of the Australian Open with a straight set win. On the opening day in Melbourne, the British number 1 6-3 against Germany's Tamara Korpach. Raducanu, aged 20, rolled her ankle in Auckland 11 days ago, and a beaming smile after sealing victory showed her joy at coming through her first test. Meanwhile, British men's number 1 Cameron Norrie also advanced with a straight set win. The 27-year-old left-hander had a short turnaround after playing in the Auckland final on Saturday when he lost to French veteran Richard Gasquet.
Go ekak thiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
AIA Group Limited announced that Harry Kane, Tottenham Hotspur striker and England captain, have been appointed as an AIA ambassador. This ambassadorship builds on the 10-year association with Harry through AIA's partnership with Tottenham Hotspur. The partnership has been a powerful vehicle to deepen engagement with AIA communities across the region, and its popular football clinics have benefited 80,000 children. That was Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekak thiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IAM, a plan for your dream.
Economic news, courtesy of
LONC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LONC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking.
Sri Lanka Railway is planning to recruit 8,000 workers to take the total up to 20,000, which is the permitted cadre. Officials said amid plans by President Ranil Wickremesinghe to trim the state sector to reduce the tax burden on the public. The Minister of Transport, Bandula Gunawardena, said Sri Lanka Railways has decided to recruit 3,000 employees as labourers from an existing multitask force employees recruited by the government. The multitask force was allocated 9.8 billion rupees in the 2023 budget.
LONC Finance is taking the power of innovation to the next level, winning 5 golds at the Technovation Awards 2022, leading the digital revolution with cutting-edge interbanking digital payments. LONC Finance claims the overall gold award whilst also claiming an extraordinary victory in digital banking. LONC Finance will continue to innovate with the next generation digitalization of financial services, delivering a superior customer experience.
Weather report.
Finally, a look at the weather report. The Met Department has issued an advisory for severe lightning in several provinces until around midnight tonight. Thunder showers accompanied by severe lightning may occur at several places in the western Sabaragamuwa, southern central Uva and the northwestern provinces. The advisory further says fairly heavy showers, about 75 millimeters, can be expected at some places in the Sabaragamuwa province and in the Kaluthura, Nuwara, Galle and Mathura districts. There may be temporary localized strong winds during thunder showers. The general public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damage caused by lightning. To end tonight's news broadcast, we take a look at the headlines again. India expected to send positive message on debt during Jaishankar's visit to Sri Lanka. The cabinet approval to provide rice to 2 million low-income families. The Commissioner General of Examination says necessary arrangements are in place for the GCE Advanced Level exam to begin on the 23rd of January. The Foreign Employment Bureau introduces a new insurance policy for the protection of female migrant workers leaving for the Middle East. The Commissioner General of Examination says arrangements are in place for the local government elections. World news, cold wave hits North India again as temperature dips to 1.4 degrees Celsius. Sports, Australia Open. Emma Raducanu and Cameron Norrie through in Melbourne. That ends tonight's news broadcast.